indoctrinated and thinking inside the box that they don't even know that they're thinking inside the box.
What do you mean when you say thinking?
Well, I just gave you some illustrations. Mm-hmm. My history is everything that ever happened. How many people will say that you would meet anywhere?
Quite a few.
But that's the truth.
Not many.
That is the truth that would apply to anybody or anything. That's the truth that would apply to a parrot sitting on a limb in Australia. The history of that parrot, that sparrow that's flying through the air right now, of which there are millions of them. The history of that sparrow is everything that ever happened since the beginning of time and before the beginning of time. That's the history of that sparrow, and that is the truth.
I know.
Your history is something that happened 2 seconds ago, 1 second ago, one fraction of a second ago. Happened where? Anywhere. Because you are here. So anything that happens before you were here is your history. Can't be anything else but that. But what the white supremacists have done an excellent job of is putting everything in a box, saying, oh, that's not your history, that's my history. Being very selective and chopping everything up. Like they do, saying the Mexicans are coming to America. Now, it's one thing that they do this right in your face, but college professors can't even comprehend it, even when you tell them that and point it out, and even when they are talking about it themselves. They miss it. They miss it. Geography professor standing right there, repeating something that makes no sense at all, saying the Mexicans are coming to America. And Mexicans themselves, many of them will say, well, we're going to America. We're bundling up and every whatnot, and we're going to El Paso. And we're going to try to cross the border into America. People from Guatemala, Honduras will say that. But even with the artificiality, because there's nothing in nature that says this, it's purely an imaginary construct. But even when an artist draws a map and says, now, this is America. And then right under it, they'll say, now, right under America, North America is Central America. That would include the people from Guatemala and all that. And then right below that, they'll say, this is South America. And so, actually, the fellow from Honduras who crosses a so-called border where there's nothing there in nature that says that's a border, that's just some signs that somebody put up, which you can make and put up anywhere, you know. I can put up a sign in the middle of Rhode Island and say, you're now crossing the Alps. Why? You know, the person will come along and say, hey, we're crossing the Alps. Why? Because the sign said so. And I sit there right by the sign and say, dummy. You know, now he thinks he's in Switzerland. You know? Why? Because I said so. I just put it on the sign. I'll have a sandwich, and afternoon I'm going to put North Pole. You know?
And do you feel
the same guy comes right past there and says, looks at the sign, oh man, I didn't know we were that close to the North Pole. I say, yeah, I know you didn't know it until I told you. Welcome to the North Pole.
Do you think racist?
Now it's 110 degrees, you know, in the shade, And I'm telling him, I'm selling overcoats. Because you're going to freeze to death because you're at the North Pole. And he just nods his head and shakes it and scratches it and buys my coats.
Do you believe racists do things like this all the time?
They do it all day long. Put some bling bling around your neck and tell you you're rich. You say, how much is this worth? Because you don't know. Oh, this is worth $10 zillion. Yeah, is that right? Yeah. If you don't believe it, ask my buddy here.